Hi, and welcome to 4th grade distance learning day 21. Today we're going to compare fractions with common numerators. Oh, there we go. So first I want to say that we are so proud of you for working on your math away from school. You are amazing. Now, it's easy to compare common denominators, and let's stop and really think about why. It has to do with what the denominator represents, with what the denominator stands for. Let's take an example like 2/4, and if it has a common denominator, then it's going to be 3/4. Why is it so easy to compare common denominators? I hope you thought in your mind something like it's easy because the pieces are the same size, so we just want more of them. In that case, I'm thinking the denominator tells me the size of the pieces, and so if the denominators are the same, that means the size of the pieces is the same. And so then I just decide that I want more pieces. Most kids know that 3/4 is more than 2/4 because 3 pieces is more than 2 pieces. Let's draw it just to check. This is the pie I'm going to use to shade 2/4, and this is the pie that I'm going to use to shade 3/4. We can already tell the pieces are cut the same. There's 1 2/4. There's 1 2 3/4. When my denominators are the same, let's circle, circle. I notice they're the same, so I'm going to circle them. I want the pie with the most pieces. But it's tricky to compare when we have common numerators. So an example of that would be 1/4 and 1/3. In this example, the numerators are the same. The top is the same. And so they aren't the same size because the size was in the bottom. They're the same number, like the same amount of pieces. Here I have 1 piece and here I have 1 piece. What's different is the size. So let's cut our pie and see what happens. I'm going to cut this pie into 4. I'm going to cut this pie into 3. Which pie has smaller pieces? I hope you said 1/4. Here the pieces are smaller. Here the pieces are bigger. So then when I take the same number of each, when I take 1 out of the 4 here and 1 out of the 3 here, this is going to be the bigger fraction because the pieces are bigger. So it's the opposite as with our denominator. The denominator is so easy. We do circle, circle, check to show we notice the denominator was the same and we want more pieces. The numerator, we still do circle, circle, check. But when we circle numbers on top, our brain has to think the opposite, right? Because normally, if you were like a little kid, here's a little kid. A little kid thinks 4 is more than 3. I'll pick the 4. But a big kid like you, right, knows that it's not really 4. It's really a 4th. This line over it means it was cut into 4 pieces or cut into 3 pieces. It's like you had to share your cake with 4 people or share your cake with 3. And I know your teacher has taught you to ask yourself, would I rather share my cake with 4 people, cut it into 4 pieces, or share it with 3 people, cut it into 3? We would rather share with 3 people, right? So a 4th is less than 1/3. So now let's look at our worksheet. In our worksheet, we're just going to be dealing with common numerators today. So step 1 is to circle those common numerators. And when we circle the common numerators, then we know that the fraction with the smaller number in the denominator is actually bigger. And we're going to put a check next to it. The work we show is always circle, circle. That's where we see something's the same. Check. And notice I checked the number that had less pieces that it was cut into. This is 4ths. This is 6ths. They're tinier. Then my symbol means this is bigger. I need to use the greater than symbol. 3/4 is greater than 3/6. Remember that this symbol is less than because it's your left hand. Here's your hand. Or it looks a bit like an L. And this symbol is greater than. All right, now it's your turn. Remember, you are a thinker, you are a hard worker, you don't give up.